Good morning, Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We are your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 8, The Laws of Inferno Dynamics.
Woo! So, Mariah, how was your week?
It's good. I have been staying with Tyler at his apartment since his lease is up at the end of the month, and his roommates moved out already, so we're having a good little time playing house, and yeah.
Cute. I love it.
How was your week?
It was mostly okay. My wrist still hurts from where I burned it last weekend, which I think I told you guys in the last episode.
Yeah.
So it still looks pretty gross because the blisters have started peeling, so it's not fun.
Yikes.
But it seems to be doing okay. The scarred parts still look pretty sick, so I'm kind of happy about that, actually. It's like a backwards Alaska.
Backwards Alaska. That's my new band name.
I love it.
All right. Well, this episode was written by This episode was written by Paul Zbyszewski and directed by Kevin Tancharoen.
Not Marissa. Where did she go? She said, I'll stay at home this time. You handle it.
So the episode serves as the last in the first pod of episodes for the season, subtitled Ghost Rider. So this is the end of sort of the Ghost Rider storyline.
I'm very sad about it, but I kind of got the feeling. Also, for our subscribers, I don't know if you noticed, there was a wild Tyler in the background. I saw him. Anyway.
So, who do we meet in this episode?
There's not really anybody new. We haven't met anybody new in a while.
Yeah.
I
feel like they're like, we've got enough characters this season.
Like, there's so many to keep track of. Anyway, so let's just dive in.
Let's do it.
So, we start off. One member of the Chinatown crew sprints past all the others to talk to Eli himself and say that basically every branch of the law enforcement is after them. And Eli is unbothered because he says, that's what I pay y'all for, to handle it. And then the member's like, oh, really? Because I haven't gotten paid. Have y'all gotten paid? He says it's not fair to ask them to hold off an organization as big and far-reaching as S.H.I.E.L.D., especially for free.
For free.
And he's right.
Yeah.
So Eli says, you're right. Will you take your payment in diamonds? And then the guy starts coughing up just unrefined diamonds just out of his mouth.
That was a lot.
So it was disgusting. As he falls to the floor, Eli says, they're priceless once properly cut. And don't forget to cut the rest out of his lungs. And I don't know if this is a joke that I should say or not, but does that mean they count as lab grown, or are they still considered blood diamonds? I feel like blood diamonds because somebody still died. So.
Yeah.
Jeff quickly gives the news reporters a live update that the seismic activity around town is not from Quake or an Inhuman, and that he can't give any more info because it's an ongoing scene. Click, hang up, bye. And then he wants to only talk to May and Coulson, so he sends away the other people in the room.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
You weren't finished with your sentence.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. That was that part.
Yeah, he, sent away Burroughs, the PR guy. And I kind of feel bad for him. Dude's just doing his job, and he just gets nothing but dirty looks. I'm like, he was hired for PR, guys.
That's what he's supposed to be focused on. Anyway, so Burroughs does what he's told and he leaves, and so then May, Coulson, and Jeff all discuss who and what they have at their disposal. Coulson says that their best bet to take down Eli is Yo-Yo, Daisy, and Robbie. Jeff asks about Ada, and May and Coulson give each other a look and then reluctantly reveal to Jeff that Ada is an android. Jeff's like, does no one remember Ultron? No, they don't.
Obviously.
But actually, Jeff was mostly upset because he thought Ada was hot, and he can't date a robot. This isn't her. But Jeff ultimately decides, after Coulson's urging, to call Ada in for this mission anyway, as well as their Inhumans, although no one can know that Daisy is working with them. So then Coulson and May finally get to have a little moment together before they go on their separate missions. And they discuss whose side Mace is on, especially after learning about Simmons' mission to study a new Inhuman for Senator Nadir. And May says that Mace has only ever been on his own side, which is true. But Coulson doesn't like not being in on this secret, so he's determined to find out what Jeff's deal is with Nadir. Coulson refers to May playing chauffeur to Ada as a milk run, which means something very bad is going to happen on May's mission. Boy, was I right about that.
I was shook that you like called that.
That's my supernatural training. Every time they called something a milk run, that means someone's dying. And Coulson promises that after this one, they're definitely going to crack that bottle that they've been saving, which I'm terrified means one of them is going to die or get sent through another portal or something. Robbie refuses to wear a mask, but is fine because he wears the same easily identifiable leather jacket every single day, so it's not like he wouldn't be spotted within seconds regardless. Mac tells him it's the director's orders, but Robbie says, that's not my boss. Mac agrees that the guy Robbie answers to is a lot less forgiving. Robbie says that Mac knows, or they agree that Mac knows a little bit about that too now. And so they hope that when all is said and done, Robbie can find an end to that bargain too and not have to be the Ghost Rider anymore. Coulson comes up as Robbie walks away, and Mac tells him that Robbie's headed over to Daisy and Yo-Yo, and so Coulson lets Simmons know that everyone is ready to start. I do feel like a lot happened in a very short amount of time on this episode. I just realized that I was like confused about the timeline of it, because it seemed like so much happened, but it was like a couple of hours maybe.
Yeah.
So Fitzsimmons tell everyone that all of Eli's guys have retreated inside the warehouse at the same time. That's suspicious. That's weird. So Yo-Yo, Daisy, and Robbie carefully head in. Yo-Yo tries to check the place out first, but she ends up tripping the booby trap anyway, and then the whole hallway goes up in flames. Yo-Yo flies out the door, arm on fire. Oh my god. And while Daisy is tending to her, Robbie says, "You like playing with fire, Eli? Let's play," as he makes his way into the flames. And like, he doesn't have to be so goddamn hot all the time, you know?
Truly.
That didn't have to happen. But it did, and he did that for me. So Jeff talks to Radcliffe about Ada, and Radcliffe is basically spending the whole conversation trying to gauge how much trouble he's in because Jeff is not being forthcoming. And Jeff is trying to figure out all the different ways that he can use Ada and just how safe she really is. Mac tries to help Yo-Yo, but she keeps saying that she's fine. He pushes and asks why she's acting so cold towards him. And she says, "I just got lit on fire, my favorite jacket is ruined, and everyone keeps treating me like a niña." Which, understandable. Honestly, all she had to say was, "I just got lit on fire.
Truly.
I am not... Leave me alone." Daisy and Coulson are trying to watch Robbie's video feed, but it keeps cutting in and out.
How dare you?
Speaking of Robbie, he finally comes across someone to fight and takes both of them out very quickly. And I will admit that I did watch that a couple of times.
Miss, I don't like fight scenes.
I like Robbie scenes. And then he finds out what Eli has been working on. He starts to go inside it to Fitzsimmons' horror, as they try to tell him not to, but his comms aren't working, apparently. Their comms are really unreliable, actually.
Yeah. It seems like they should survive various things, you know?
You'd think they'd have worked on that a little more.
Yeah.
But fortunately, they are able to see and recognize that Eli is seemingly testing his abilities with different elements of the periodic table. Eli appears behind Robbie, and Robbie starts turning into the Ghost Rider, but then Eli conjures Carbon to stab him from behind before he can fully turn. No! The rest of the team have realized that Eli has built a demon core, which is not a trendy new aesthetic, but it could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It's a failsafe or a fuel source or something. I don't know.
In the science lab, they make reference to the demon core. Historically, it was one of 3 plutonium cores used during the research and building of the atomic bombs at Los Alamos during World War II, and was slated for use in a 3rd bomb had it been necessary. The core was named Demon Core after it was involved in 2 critical accidents that resulted in the deaths of 2 physicists at the lab.
Only 2? I would think something called the Demon Core would have wiped things out. Wow. And they used it?
Yeah.
Ugh. History is dark sometimes.
Truly. And we never learned from it.
Never ever. So, as you said, Eli is experimenting with plutonium, which, to be honest with you, I didn't know that that was a real element. But I did know that it's very bad in every comic book.
Yeah.
Someone in every comic book that I've ever heard of, not that I really read comic books, but everything that I know about comic books says that plutonium is bad. And extremely reactive, which means Mr. Hothead over here is not the best person to be in within 5 feet of it.
Nope.
Robbie and Eli finally get the chance to, air some grievances, except that Robbie is being held to the wall with a carbon skewer like a goddamn shish kebab. Eli realizes that Robbie isn't fully human anymore, and Robbie tells him that it's his fault, because on the night of the drive-by, they were looking for Eli. Eli says that he never meant for Robbie to get hurt, which means nothing. Oh, good, you didn't mean to.
All is forgiven then.
Never mind. Let me just walk out of here. Robbie asks why he did this, why he started hunting or hurting people in the first place. Hunting people, wow.
Wow.
And Eli explains that he never felt valued or equal in the workplace at Momentum. Even though he had a PhD and was just every bit of engineer as everybody else there, Eli still felt like a high school kid in that lab, and he was looked down upon, and he wanted to demand their respect.
So he used the word, oh, I'm going to mispronounce this, hold on. Yeah, he said the word quiero, which is a Spanish word that is commonly used in Mexico to describe people with fair skin, hair, or eyes. It can also be used as a noun to describe someone with yellow hair or a similar shade. It basically translates to blonde. Yeah.
And now Eli says that he's becoming a god. Robbie says, good, because the devil's coming for you.
Oof.
He starts to shift forms again, but Eli sends another carbon bolt through Robbie, and then again leaves him skewered to the wall.
So Robbie is supposed to be trapped on spikes of carbon, but the ends sticking out of his chest keep moving as he breathes.
A goof.
A goof.
We haven't had a goof in a while.
I know.
Wow.
But I did notice that a little bit, like especially when he was breathing heavy, like the the spikes were just kind of going like.
That's funny. So Jeff and May arrive with Radcliffe and Ada in tow, although I guess it wasn't May. Wow. Jeff has decided that he's joining them on the mission to, like, prove he's part of the team or whatever.
So at about 19 minutes in, when May appears boarding the Zephyr from the Quinjet with Ada, hold on. At about 19 minutes in, when May appears boarding the Zephyr from the Quinjet with Ada, Radcliffe, and Mace, it is actually a life model decoy of May.
Oh, May.
I actually, like, had to go back and... because it was under spoilers on IMDb. And so I was like, I'm not going to grab that one because, you know, it's a spoiler. And then I watched the episode and I was like, oh, that's not that much of a spoiler. I'll add that in. Like, you figured that out by the end of the episode.
This episode.
Yeah, it's a spoiler for this episode.
Did you want to do your other one?
Oh, yeah. And when May questions whether Ada the android thinks, Coulson... no, she questioned whether the android dreams. Coulson joked maybe about electric sheep, and this is in reference to the novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, more commonly known by its film adaptation, Blade Runner.
Okay, I don't think I know what Blade Runner is, because my first thought was, I think, Blades of Glory, which is not the same thing.
No. I thought you were going to say Maze Runner. The one with
no.
the one with Dylan O'Brien.
I know that one. No, I was thinking the ice skating one. And I don't think that's what that is.
No, it's not.
Anyway. Daisy starts catching up with Fitz and Simmons and gets the tea on the new director that, according to Fitzsimmons, is a lying weasel that they don't trust.
Daisy and Fitz's friendship is so cute and bantery. The way he was like, good news, you aren't causing the earthquakes. And Daisy was like, yeah, as I've been telling everyone. And Fitz goes, yeah, but now it's actually true.
I love them. I miss them. I'm so glad Daisy's back on the team.
Yeah. It's been bleak without her.
Yeah. Everybody's been so sad. She just, like, brings life back into the Zephyr. Speaking of a lying weasel that they don't trust, Mac does not like Director Mace's new plan to send Yo-Yo back into the field to retrieve the plutonium device. Yo-Yo is pissed that Mac keeps trying to speak for her and insists that she's fine to go back in the field, actually. Mac even says to Jeff, maybe you should stick to optics and leave the tactical missions to us, before Coulson stops him and pulls Jeff into another room to talk in private. Oh my god, Mac.
Really?
It's pretty clear which director they still respect.
Yeah.
Mac tries to appeal to Elena again, but she's absolutely pissed at him. She says that while she has many gifts, mind reading isn't one of them. So Mac ghosted Elena. Oh my god.
Can't believe it.
I would say the smallest man who ever lived, but he's
pretty big.
Pretty big. Daisy is realizing that she can feel a quake coming that she's not causing. And Fitz keeps correcting everyone because it's not possible for Eli to be creating matter, because matter can neither be created nor destroyed. And then Fitz has a revelation that I don't understand yet. Jeff and Coulson finally air their grievances about keeping secrets from each other. And Daisy arrives as well to accuse Jeff of all the stuff that Fitz just told her about. Which is, that's so me. My friends tell me about somebody and I'm like, let me go talk to them.
I was thinking that. I was thinking something similar, actually.
Is it true you were being mean to my friend? Jeff tells them that he's only working with Senator Nadir to protect S.H.I.E.L.D., which is literally his job. So, but now he just wants to handle the problem at hand, which Daisy finally mentions that Fitz has a plan for. Eli shows Robbie that he can conjure water now, which is a compound, and he says that soon he'll be able to create life. Oh no.
So the title is a reference to the laws of thermodynamics, the first law of which Eli Morrow believes he is breaking by creating matter.
Yeah. Not good.
No.
Coulson arrives and says, maybe you should get a girlfriend first. And then he says, sorry, Eli, but you're not a god. Turns out you're just a petty thief. Wow.
Damn.
All the insults, everybody's just like,
and they're
haven't
on it
had
today,
it this
yeah.
episode. A lying weasel, a petty thief. One of the crew that escorted Coulson in says that he's unarmed except for the long metal chain that gets thrown on the ground in front of them. I wonder what that's for. Robbie looks at it gratefully from his skewers. But unfortunately, he can't reach it yet. Eli ignores it completely and says that Coulson should be dead. Coulson says, I get that a lot, actually.
I did like his little philosophy on it. Like, I get that a lot, and it never gets old because it means I'm doing something right. I'm still here.
Yeah. Aww. Love that spin. A positive spin. He continues that if Eli is asking how Coulson is still alive, then that just shows how little he knows about what actually happened. Which means that Eli also doesn't know what's going to happen next. One floor beneath all of them, S.H.I.E.L.D. is setting up their next idea. Ada is preparing another portal or something based off of the Watch Dogs EMP thing that took out all the power in Miami. They're thinking if Eli's Doomcore thing doesn't have any power, maybe it'll become less dangerous to handle. I guess that's what they were saying. I don't know if that's actually what happened.
I have no idea. I didn't understand the science or like I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, the threat was gone by the end, so that's what matters.
That's what counts.
Daisy says that she can't believe Ada is a robot because she's so lifelike. And Ada is flattered. Wow. The rest of the team is nervous, though. Fitz says that the gate should work as long as there's no more earthquakes. Okay, wait. So, I think what happened was that they sent it to the, like, ghost realm or whatever.
Yeah.
But then why did they bring up the Watch Dogs thing? I don't know. Anyway. Fitz says that the gate should work as long as there are no more earthquakes. And Ada listens to Daisy as she says to leave those to her. Everyone's leaving like they came in one piece. Ada is still learning about things. I don't know if she was, like, impressed by Daisy saying that, or I don't know. So Coulson tells Eli what he's actually doing, especially to Robbie. Eli thinks that he's rewriting the laws of nature and creating new matter, but Coulson tells him that he's actually stealing it. Every time he creates something, there's another seismic rift, and Robbie feels a pull from the quantum energy box that he was in while they were ghosts, I guess. I don't think that's the pull he was feeling, though.
No,
he was feeling the
he's feeling
Ghost Rider.
So the pull he was feeling while he was inside of the box is because the quantum energy in the box that he's in is from that ghost realm.
Okay. It's okay. There's anyway. But I don't know where he's getting the energy from then. He's just stealing it from somewhere else.
Yeah, he's stealing it from that, like, alternate dimension.
Okay. That's just going straight over my head. But we're just gonna go. That's fine. We're gonna go.
Yeah.
With it. Eli doesn't believe him, despite Robbie begging him to. Eli just gets angry. He's like, "Do you know how much work I put in to achieve this, and you're calling me a thief? I mean, clearly you didn't put enough work into it because you're not doing it right." And below, Ada is working as fast as she can when another earthquake hits. And apparently Daisy and Yo-Yo are both using gauntlets to try and absorb those, but mostly Daisy.
I don't recall seeing Yo-Yo, but
they said
that doesn't mean
I think she said that Yo-Yo was doing it too, but I don't know. Maybe I heard that wrong. I don't know what Yo-Yo was doing.
Because I know Yo-Yo comes in, like, later in the fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she was. Maybe she was recovering until then.
Maybe.
Or maybe she was absorbing the earthquakes, and I just missed it.
Who knows? But the quakes keep coming, and Daisy is struggling to absorb them. And she's not really absorbing them because the earth is still shaking.
Yeah.
So,
she's doing her best.
Yeah, she's trying.
I mean, imagine maybe how much worse the earthquakes would be if she wasn't trying to absorb them.
True. So Coulson finally realizes that there's no getting through to Eli, and his bomb is not a failsafe, it's his endgame, to prove that he can create life after death. Ada seems to finally be done. They put a thing on the ceiling, I guess. And Coulson tells Robbie to fight and get out of the box. Robbie tells the big guy to make good on their deal and finish this. And Coulson then calls for the rest of the teams to fucking go. So Mac, May, and Jeff come out of the shadows, and they start taking on all of the crew members. As they go, Yo-Yo whips around the room, manipulating different parts of the fight into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s favor, and then puts a marker thing on Eli's chest and throws him into the box with Robbie. Down below, a crew member has found the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, and Ada steps in front of his gun, getting shot twice and going down, just for Fitzsimmons to shoot the guy back. And oh my god, that scene was so fucking cool.
Yeah, they looked so cool.
Such badasses.
Oh, they've grown so much.
I know. Coulson tosses Robbie the other end of the chain and holds firm so that the Ghost Rider can pull him off of the carbon stakes in the wall. But then Eli starts to get up and run, so Robbie grabs him and then lets go of the chain to hold on to Eli. The lid over the plutonium closes, and as Eli is catching on fire, the box and everything and everyone in it vanishes. And then the team is silent, mouths wide open, much like mine. Robbie sacrificed himself. I'm so sad. I miss him. Below, Simmons is checking on Ada, who is bleeding somehow. Apparently, Radcliffe programmed her to bleed synthetic blood and feel actual pain, which is kind of fucked up, in order to react appropriately as a decoy. But she assures Simmons that she can't actually bleed out.
Poor Ada when she was like, it's quite awful.
Yeah. Although not poor Ada.
Not poor Ada.
Actually, this is fine. Daisy rushes outside because she has absorbed too much seismic activity and she needs to let it out. So she quake jumps higher than a skyscraper and then falls back to the ground.
I was so scared she was just gonna like land like.
I know, I thought she was like passing out. Oh my god. So, but luckily she lands gracefully and directly in front of all of the news vans, of course. So the reporters recognize her immediately and rush over to ask if she's been there the whole time.
She's supposedly a dangerous outlaw or something, and yet all the reporters literally ran up to her. Like, yeah, microphones like, in her face.
God. Are you Quig? Have you been here the whole time? Jeff pushes through the throng of reporters and covers for her, assuring them that she wasn't the source of the danger today. She's actually been an undercover agent and saved them all. Back on the Zephyr, Coulson finds Daisy in the garage. She puts the chain in the front seat of Lucy and says that they need to get the car back to Gabe because it's his now. Coulson says they shouldn't give up on Robbie just yet. And Daisy asks if he thinks that Robbie can make it back. Coulson says, well, the last ghostwriter did. And Daisy's like, excuse me? What? Tell me that. And Coulson says that it's a story for another time. What? Yeah, girl, watch the Nick Cage movie.
So Agent Coulson tells Daisy not to count out the previous owner, Robbie, the previous owner of the car. Why did they word it like that?
I don't know. That is what he said.
Yeah, it is what he said, but it, like, don't count out Robbie.
Robbie.
Yeah. She asks if he thought he will make it back. His reply was that the last ghostwriter did. This refers to Johnny Blaze as the ghostwriter.
Yep. I knew that reference. Then Coulson tells Daisy that although Jeff officially named her an agent on the spot, if she doesn't want that, then they can work something out. Daisy says she doesn't know how she feels about being back, but there were a few things that she missed. And Coulson says they missed her too. Ah! Daisy also says that she likes having an Inhuman as the director. And Coulson says that while that was his idea, he didn't mean that specific Inhuman. And he looks at Daisy pointedly. And she scoffs and says, me? Maybe in the comic book version. She said the thing!
So at the end, Coulson implies Daisy should be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Daisy scoffs and says, yeah, right, maybe in the comic book version. This is a reference to the comic books, where she does become director when Fury retires.
Aww. So Mac catches up to Yo-Yo in the hallway and stops her from leaving. He tries to explain that he's been in a bad headspace lately and he wanted to talk to her. He wanted his friend. She's incredulous. Oh, is that what we are? Friends? And then she lays it all out for him. Turtle man. How he flirted with her, wined and dined her, and then ghosted for weeks. And now she's down bad crying at the gym. And she's got every right to be annoyed that now he wants to be worried about her and wants to protect her. But he interrupts her and they finally kiss. And, you know, I didn't really say it earlier, but I was thinking that he looked extra good this episode. Like, he went to the barber, he got a fresh cut, like, his beard is all nice.
It's kind of like, you know, like, when you're at your lowest, sometimes that's, like, when you're the hottest.
Yeah.
I feel
totally.
like He's like, I'm in a bad headspace. I gotta go to the barber.
I have to have something going for me right now. Anyway, so they kiss, and then he says, "Don't call me Turtle Man."
Which, fair.
I mean, I didn't even remember why she called him that.
Because he's slow.
Oh. Anyway, so Daisy and Coulson walk up on them, obviously, because they're doing this, like, in the main hallway. And they all just kind of, like, look at each other sheepishly as Daisy and Coulson head into the common room with everyone else. Very cute. That was very cute.
Very cute. Although, like, in real life, if someone had been stringing me along like that, and then decided to shut me up, like, airing my grievances about it by kissing me, I would not have the same reaction. I don't think. No,
not at all. Not at all.
But in a TV show, it's very cute.
Yes. In a TV show, in a Taylor Swift song, cute. Love it.
In real life, no.
If it happened to me, fuck you. So anyway, so the group is watching the news exclusive about Agent Johnson never actually being a fugitive, but instead being on an extended undercover case to take down the watchdogs on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s behalf. As Coulson points out, this means that Senator Nadir no longer has her blackmail. Simmons turns it off now that everyone is gathered and gives Agent Johnson her official lanyard. And then they get sad for a minute that Koenig isn't there. Aww. Daisy notices that she is level blue. She asks what that means. And Fitz just goes, "Thrilling, isn't it?" But nobody knows what that means, actually. Over in the kitchen, Jeff and Radcliffe are talking. Jeff has decided that Ada doesn't need to be dismantled, but that Radcliffe is to continue all work on this project at S.H.I.E.L.D. and with supervision. Which is definitely the right choice.
Yeah, for sure.
Radcliffe says that's wonderful, but I am sensing some trepidation on his part. And then as Jeff said he would, Agent Nathanson is packing up Radcliffe's research from his personal lab to bring it into S.H.I.E.L.D. Along with Ada, when suddenly Ada's closet door opens on its own. Very suspicious. Nathanson goes to check it out and is horrified at what's inside. Ada comes up behind him and says, "I'm sorry, I know how this feels," and then snaps his neck. I knew that AI couldn't be trusted. And what is in that closet? Ada babies? I don't... What the fuck? I don't know why the first thought that I had was that she, like, created new AI thing or whatever, decoys, but they were, like just body parts or something. Ugh. So now it's time for the post-content content. Ada brings a bowl of water and a towel over to the closet. And it's May! No! She starts cleaning up the blood from May's ear as May stays curled up unconscious on the floor. Back at S.H.I.E.L.D., Coulson and so-called May finally crack open the bottle that they've been talking about, and Coulson has no idea. I knew the milk run meant something bad. Ada switched May out for a fake. What the fuck? Oh my god.
My goodness. So, overall thoughts?
Wow. I knew I didn't trust Ada from the second she came in. I'm gonna miss Robbie. I'm gonna miss him a whole lot. And then also that little closet is not gonna hold Agent May forever. So
truly, yeah.
I feel confident I feel confident that she's going to be fine and we're going to get her back. And also, I like that they gave us a cliffhanger and then immediately answered it.
It was a very good post-content.
Yes, very satisfying. What about you? What do you got?
I've got one last fun fact, and that is that this episode marks the first time the winter finale is the season's 8th episode instead of the 10th.
Oh, wow. Does it continue to do that from here on out?
I do not recall.
Okay.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode on Season 4, Episode 8, The Laws of Inferno Dynamics.
Woohoo!
Next time, we'll be covering Season 4, Episode 9, Broken Promises, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, bye!
Bye, love you!